Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Kev's Movie Corner. I am Kev, and this week we are talking about The Hunger Games Catching Fire. So this movie starts off about, it says 12 months where we left off last time. 12 months after we left off with the last movie, which is at the end of the first, or at the end of the 74th Hunger Games. I'm not sure of the exact timeline because that doesn't quite line up with what seems to make sense. But anyway, you start off after the 74th Hunger Games. Katniss and Peeta are, after both winning, we know that they won by basically cheating and or beating the system and almost threatening to both kill themselves in beating the Capitol. So they Peeta has learned that Katniss isn't actually so much in love with him that he believed during the games. So they've kind of grown to resent each other a little bit. This has, and you also have the president who is not very happy about this whole thing, and them winning and it causing a rebellion is what he has talked about has happened, or an uprising among the districts, which he has been worried about this whole time, and he comes to visit Katniss and threatens basically to kill everyone that she loves, because he's a terrible human. That's all there is to it. Anyway, so you've got that whole thing going on, which is, bad. They get ready to go on their victory tour, and the president basically says, if you can't convince me or the people that you are actually madly in love, then, or if you can't convince me that you're madly in love, then I'm going to kill everyone that you love. And things go badly on the tour. People start to rise up against the Capitol, and she sees this happening. One person gets killed, and it just all kind of collapses from there. So the president goes along with his new game maker, the idea from the new game maker, who was played by Seymour Hoffman. Plutarch Heavensbee is the character, to use past victors from each district to take part in the 75th games, which guarantees that Katniss will be involved, and President Snow hopes that she will be killed in the games. What Snow doesn't realize, and Katniss doesn't realize either, is that everybody has built a plan around this that they don't know about. But they go into the games. Plutarch has basically built this to... so they go into the games. She she builds allies with several people. Um, but as she's going through these districts, more and more uprisings keep happening. President Snow keeps falling, growing more and more concerned about what's going on, more and more upset, and Katniss also grows more and more suspicious of everybody, of what's going on. Everybody that she's, even the people that she's supposedly allies with in the games. Until towards the end of the games, she basically shoots out the power, or shoots out the sky in the games, and then is taken out of the arena and wakes up in District 13, which she's been told for forever doesn't exist anymore and was blown off the face of the earth. And she learns that the whole game was a setup to get her and everybody out as part of a rebellion. But she's very upset that they did not get out Peeta, which was her main goal, and she gets very upset. She gets mad that she told Haymitch that he was supposed to survive and she wasn't. And that's basically where the movie ends. She ends up in District 13, and that's where it stops. You don't have anything else. It stops right there. She's in District 13. You learn that District 13 exists, and that's it. And that Finnick is there as well, who she has been working with. You have other things that happen, a different game, but for the most part, a lot of it is... there's different game things that happen within this movie and different people, but, for the most part, the game is still the game. It's just a different setup, different arena. But you learn that Plutarch, the game maker, is actually part of the rebellion. When she wakes up, him, Finnick, and Haymitch are all talking about, the rebellion and making sure that she didn't know, and keeping her in the dark about it. But yeah, that's about what it is. It's an interesting movie. It's a good movie. I don't know if I... Excuse me. I don't know if I enjoy it as much as the first one. It is rated higher than the first one. So, on Rotten Tomatoes, this movie gets a 90. And on Rotten Tomatoes, the original Hunger Games gets a 84. So those are 1 and 2 out of these 5 movies that are released so far. Another one is coming out next year. But out of the 5 movies that have been released so far, these are 1 and 2. I think the first one was just new. So to me, it's more interesting. This one is... it's a lot of the same, it feels like, with just a little more drama added in because they're having to go back. And in my opinion. Now, obviously a bunch of people disagreed with me because this is ranked higher. But, that's what I felt with this one. I did think there was a couple things that were interesting on this with the trivia that I found on IMDb. This one takes place in a tropical type location, so they start out on the water. So the water scenes were filmed at a water park south of Atlanta, which was apparently very cold. The water was barely above 50 degrees, which is awful. And Lynn Cohen, who played Mags, was apparently told that she didn't have to do it because the director feared for her health. Now, Jennifer Lawrence, Sam Claflin, who played Finnick, and Josh Hutcherson, who played Peeta, apparently were all klutzes from what they have said themselves, and fell down a lot, especially Claflin, Finnick's character. And there's a scene where Finnick is trying to carry Mags, because he does carry Mags a lot in the arena. He loses his footing and he falls and hits his knee on the rocks and drops her into the water. And he says that he felt terrible about it because she obviously was exempt from being in the water because of the cold. But apparently Mags found it, or Lynn found it hilarious, which is hilarious in and of itself. Apparently also Peeta and Finnick, or Claflin and Hutcherson, found it funny when they were all having to eat fish, because there's a scene when they're on the beach eating raw fish, and they all actually did eat raw fish. Katniss, Finnick, and Peeta were eating raw fish, and none of them, I guess, or Jennifer Lawrence and Sam Claflin don't like raw fish, and apparently it was definitely especially challenging for Jennifer Lawrence to eat the fish, and Josh and Sam found that particularly funny. This is also the highest grossing film in 2013 in North America, and was the top billed film with a female lead since The Exorcist in 1973, and the first with a woman as the sole protagonist and primary marketing focus since The Sound of Music in 1965. So, good for Jennifer Lawrence for being the main person in this, like the top dog. I'm kind of tired, so this is going really slow, and it sounds a whole lot worse to me than it probably actually sounds. It's probably pretty bad from how I know this usually goes. But anyway, I think that's about it for this week. Next week, we have the first of the final, The Mockingjay, Part 1. Excuse me. Hope you guys will join me for that. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and I'll talk to you next week.